The duo of Flatt and Scruggs made an early impression on today's legends of country and bluegrass music.
I'd been a fan of Flatt and Earl Scruggs since they were on the radio when I was in high school. They were in WPTF in Raleigh. I've been a fan ever since.
That banjo just grabbed me, you know, and that was what got me started in this music. Because I learned to play the banjo, and I was playing that when I got a job with Bill Monroe, you know.
I ain't gonna work on a railroad. Ain't gonna work on a farm.
We listened to them every morning on the Martha White Show on WSM. So I knew who they were. They were like family. They were 5:45. Dad would turn the radio on. Before, you know, the static came in, it was clear as a bell. We'd lay in bed, listen to the Martha White Show, and then we knew it was time to get up at 6 o'clock and get ready for school.
Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs revolutionized acoustic music, and in the process, they took bluegrass to new heights of commercial success and popularity. Join us as we celebrate the music and legacy of Flatt and Scruggs on Opry Docks. Bill Monroe was one of the Grand Ole Opry's biggest stars in the 1940s, but his addition of guitarist Lester Flatt and banjo picker Earl Scruggs to the Bluegrass Boys redefined the music we would come to know as bluegrass.
If you look at the, what is the template for the music, many songs and arrangements of the music came from the template of Flatt and Scruggs.
Flatt and Scruggs left Bill Monroe in 1948 to form their own band, the Foggy Mountain Boys. With their own brand of bluegrass, Lester and Earl would soon be rivaling their old boss as one of the most popular string bands in the country.
That three-finger roll on the banjo was instrumental in the history of music, period, and particularly that instrument. I mean, think about that. You go from 2 fingers to 3 fingers. In the history of the banjo, as old as that instrument is, it took Earl Scruggs to come up with that.
Now look here, pal, I know you love talking.
Once that three-finger roll came into existence, that alone changed the sound of bluegrass music.
He modernized the banjo, man. When I first heard it, it was like, wow, what is that? You know, nobody played a banjo like Earl Scruggs. It was Earl Scruggs style. Everybody that came along after Earl copied him. He was everybody's standard for a banjo player.
I can't eat and I can't sleep. All I do is sit and cry. And listen for your footsteps at the door.
Look at how Lester Flatt played his rhythm guitar with that thumb pick. Some of my favorite rhythm, he and Del McCoury are two of my favorite rhythm players in bluegrass music. And the way he played that guitar with that thumb pick and the identity of his vocal, I think both of them, in my mind, personally, were equal stars.
You're always in my heart and on my mind. Once I thought
But when they came together and their music came together, it was an explosion that the likes of people had never heard before, and still yet today, it's just been some of the most amazing bluegrass ever made.
seems I miss you most of all when twilight shadows.
Lester talked and sang the same way. He would slide up to the note. He wouldn't go straight to it. He'd get there in time.
My dad used to say, you know, Lester never opens his mouth when he sings. He keeps it, you know, well, he just keeps his mouth kind of closed. But whatever he did, he opened it enough because some beautiful sounds came out of it. Had a good voice. And he interpreted a bluegrass song as good as anybody ever did, you know.
You're always in my heart and on my mind.
I do know that having a bus was, if they weren't the first, it was so unusual to have luxurious transportation like that.
Back and roll it, sweet baby.
The Grand Ole Opry is celebrating 5,000 consecutive Saturday night shows. That's 96 years, and Circle is here to join in on the celebration. Throughout October, Circle will be showcasing the best Opry programs such as My Opry Debut, Opry Rewind, Opry Docs, That Nashville Music, and of course, Opry. And to bring it full circle, an all-day marathon of everything Opry, including a special 2-hour Opry Live at 8/7 Central on Saturday, October 30th. Presented by AARP Fraud Watch Network.
Are you on Medicaid and in need of bladder control and incontinence products? Then stay tuned for a free offer from Active Style.
I'm embarrassed to go out in public because sometimes I have accidents. Can Medicaid help me with bladder control products? Can I get my bladder control products delivered at no cost to me?
Is there a home delivery service for bladder control products?
How would you like to have all your incontinence supplies delivered discreetly right to your door at no cost to you? You can if you're Medicaid eligible, thanks to Active Style. At Active Style, we understand your needs and offer convenient home delivery of incontinence products for children and adults. When you call a personal consultant, someone like me will help you find the best bladder control supplies for you. Inside every product is a super absorbent core that turns liquid to gel and locks it away to help protect your skin and keep you dry. Your comfort and satisfaction are assured by our Get It Right guarantee. If the fit's not right, we'll send different products until you're completely satisfied. Plus, we'll handle all the details with your doctor and insurance. And your privacy is assured. Every order ships free right to your door in discreet boxes. Best of all, our caring and complete service costs you nothing if you're Medicaid eligible.
With Active Style, my bladder control worries are gone.
This is a special TV offer. If you're Medicaid eligible, you'll get our great caring service, our Get It Right guarantee, and a free sample. So please, call now.
If you're on Medicaid, call now for your free sample. Active Style is the easy, convenient way to get incontinence supplies shipped discreetly to your door at no cost to you.
Have your Medicaid card ready and call 1-800-393-2610. That's 1-800-393-2610. Call now.
Let's hear some of the real, authentic bluegrass music. Lester Flatt, Earl Scruggs.
Country music had such a spectacle quality, and it's presented so beautifully at the Ryman stage. All I see is kinship. Folks that have really come from far and wide to see the spectacle.
In the 1950s, Flatt and Scruggs were a juggernaut destined for Opry stardom. Country rock legend and Opry star Charlie Daniels remembers seeing the Foggy Mountain Boys at the Opry when he was a teenager.
We came the first time, a bunch of us young guys. I was a junior in high school. It had been 1954. First time we came, we just drove out to Nashville. No tickets, no nothing. We stood in line down around the alley at the Ryman for, I guess, probably 2 hours or something like that to get in. And it was just blistering, you know, in the heat of the summertime it was. You sit out there and sweat and fan, you know, willing to put up with it out here and sit on them old hard seats. I've been aware of Flatt Scruggs for a long time, and that was my favorite act to see on the Opry, them and Bill Monroe. I was a total bluegrass fan at the time, you know.
With their high-speed bluegrass performances, balanced with sweet harmonies and heartfelt gospel numbers, they seem to be the perfect addition to the Opry.
There's a happy child at home. There's a happy child at home. In my memory I can see. In my memory I can see. Standing out upon the hill. Standing out upon the hill. Neath the shadow of the tree. Neath the shadow of the tree. If I only had my way. If I only had my way. It would give my heart a thrill. Just to simply wander back. Just to simply wander back to the cabin on the hill. To the cabin on the hill.
In 1955, Flatt and Scruggs became Opry members over the objections of Bill Monroe due to the influence of Opry sponsor Martha White, which also sponsored the Foggy Mountain Boys.
They had a good thing going, you know. They just had all of the ingredients for a great band, you know, and entertainment and all like that. And of course, their sponsor was the Flower Company, you know, and they were sponsoring times on the Opry, so naturally, they're going to get their band on there eventually, and they did.
To the cabin on the hill, to the cabin on the hill.
Opry membership only widened the rift between Monroe and Flatt Scruggs.
They were not on speaking terms then. They'd been out of his band since '48. So, and then he just didn't associate with them, and they didn't associate with him either. You know, it was mutual, I know.
I mean, Bill Monroe was a strong-willed man. And I can assure you, if he felt he'd been done wrong, whether he had been or not, that he would find it tough to forgive.
The Martha White sponsorship was instrumental in the fame and fortune of Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. They not only created wider exposure for the band, but they also put them on the road in a brand new Martha White bus.
Lay round my shack till bed, drink a back and roll in with sweet baby.
I do know that having a bus was, if they weren't the first, it was so unusual to have luxurious transportation like that. The Opry management was very demanding. You better be here on Friday and Saturday night if you were going to be able to build yourself as a star of the Grand Ole Opry out there on the road, and that was a big deal.
Lay round my shack till bed, drink a back and roll in with sweet baby.
I mean, you hear these horror stories about what it took to get from wherever they were in their bookings back home so they wouldn't get trouble with the Opry management and be here for their slot on the weekend.
I know your parents don't like me. They drove me away from your door. Had my life to live over. I'll never go there anymore. Roll every sweet baby's arms. Roll every sweet baby's arms. Lay round my shack till bell train comes back and roll every sweet baby's arms.
The Martha White bluegrass tradition carried on many years after Flatt Scruggs, with artists like Rhonda Vincent.
Oh, it was amazing to be sponsored by Martha White in the tradition of Flatt Scruggs, and the longest, I think at the time, and probably still is, the longest continuous running sponsor of the Grand Ole Opry. And we loved singing their song. We loved just representing them. Now you bake right with Martha White. Goodness gracious, good and light, Martha White. For the finest biscuits, cakes, and pie, get Martha White's self-rising flour, the one all-purpose flour. Martha White's self-rising flour that's got high and right.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed.
Poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed.
Shall we kick one off? Let's do it. All right.
Live from the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, Tennessee, America salutes you, honoring Billy Gibbons. This benefit concert is brought to you by the First Responders Children's Foundation.
Hi, folks. Medicare open enrollment is simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, the agent will look up your zip code to see if you're able to eliminate copays and get Part C benefits like prescriptions and expanded coverage for your dental work at no extra cost. 3, they'll check if you're eligible to get money added to your Social Security check up to $1,700 a year. Call to check your zip code.
I call to check my zip code.
I call to eliminate copays.
I call to get everything I deserve.
I call to get money added to my Social Security check.
Millions of people have trusted the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Call the 800 number on your screen to check your zip code. Don't miss the deadline. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-370-9269. That's 1-800-370-9269.
Now.
With this Balsam Hill tree, create your own twinkly light show and enjoy a stunningly realistic tree designed to make setup simple. Enjoy free shipping with balsamhill.com.
We need more room.
But with our credit?
Well, Credit Karma can show us how to improve our credit scores for free.
Then maybe we can get a bigger place for us and the kids.
Don't forget Mr. Beaks.
Credit Karma. Download the app today.
Here's to hard workers, the holding down two jobbers, the making the paycheck stretchers. Here's to the bad to fair credit scores, and those bills were just a little bit laters. At Good to Go, we see you. We know you have the drive, you just can't afford to drive. Good to Go is here to give you auto insurance when others won't. For as little as $20 down and low monthly payments, Good to Go makes it easy to get approved, insured, and back on the road fast. Get the coverage you need, instant proof of insurance, and be on your way. We know you're going places. Let us help you get there. When others say no, we say you're good to go. Visit goodtogo.com.
In the early 1960s, Flatt Scruggs began expanding their audience beyond the traditional bluegrass market by recording a live album on New York's most famous stage, Carnegie Hall.
The whole bluegrass folk revival, that was a juggernaut. And when you can attract an audience like those guys did, and the attention of the media like those guys did in New York, of all places, and the Opry at Carnegie Hall and them recording live there, to a certain degree, it was a musical revolution.
Their audience grew even wider because of television exposure, including the popular network show, The Beverly Hillbillies.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed.
Poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed.
And I forgot the words.
Then one day he was shooting at some food. Up come the ground from the bubbling crude.
Oil, that is.
Texas tea.
Their TV appearances with the Clampetts also provided a national stage for new songs.
Pearl, 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 come let us see our girl. Are you still her Valentine? Do you still look so divine? Come and let us see your darling Pearl.
Earl sang the lead.
Pearl, pearl, pearl.
Oh my goodness.
That's right.
And it was just really a cool change because it wasn't Lester singing lead. Earl sang a little something, and it just took it to a different area.
That was because of the Beverly Hillbillies. It was Pearl. He loved Pearl. He tried to court her in the Beverly Hillbillies.
So anybody
Pearl,
watching
pearl,
this,
pearl.
if you haven't heard that cut, get on and buy it. It's really cool.
Pearl, 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 come be my loving girl. Don't you marry Lester Flatt. He slicks his hair with possum fat. Change her name to Mrs. Earl Scruggs. Pearl, 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 come let us see our girl. Are you still her Valentine? Do you still look so divine? Come and let us see your darling Pearl.
As far as Hollywood and New York and LA, which are the two markets to this day, obviously, that run the television industry, I mean, that was a high water moment.
Pearl, 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 come let us see our girl. Are you still her Valentine? Do you still look so divine? Come and let us see your darling Pearl.
The momentum of Flatt Scruggs peaked with the soundtrack of the motion picture Bonnie and Clyde in 1967, reintroducing a new generation to a song they first recorded in 1949.
Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway playing Bonnie and Clyde. You had the automatic Hollywood draw, and then you put this music in there that was perfect. Whoever this is doing this is perfect.
I'll tell you how important the instrumental Foggy Mountain Breakdown is to us. We know how popular that song is all over the world. For instance, when we were in Japan headlining a country music festival last year, we played that song. And 4,000 Japanese fans are going bonkers when we kicked into this thing. They knew it. They knew what it was about. So that song, that instrumental, is somewhat universal still today.
Well, I do think that bluegrass has had periods of great commercial success, a kind of success that outside of mainstream country subgenres have never achieved. You know, I think about the Beverly Hillbillies or the Bonnie and Clyde soundtrack. These were major commercial smashes. The fact that it was able to be a part of Hollywood also is a credit to the intensity and the mass popularity of bluegrass music.
And Lester told me this part of it. He said, I was standing backstage, and he said, somebody tapped me from behind on the shoulder like that, and he said, I turned around, it was Bill Monroe with his hand out.
Are you noticing an increase in wrinkles and sagging skin? Is your body storing fat more easily? Do you suffer from a lack of energy or the draining side effects of restless sleep? What if I told you it's not your fault? It's just a part of the normal aging process. Hi, I'm Kim Lyons. As a fitness expert, I have always been on the hunt for the next great breakthrough. And that's why I was so excited to learn about the youth hormone associated with reducing body fat, increasing lean muscle mass, and even reducing wrinkles. It's called human growth hormone, or HGH. And as early as your mid-20s, your natural production begins to drop dramatically. The solution? Cerevital. Cerevital is the only amino acid complex shown in a clinical trial to trigger the body's own natural release of HGH from the pituitary gland and increase mean HGH levels by an astonishing 682%.
I would definitely say that Cerevital has turned back the clock for me. Other people, my nieces and nephews, would say things like, your skin is glowing, and I'd be like, really?
Cerevital boosts your HGH naturally and at a fraction of the cost of painful synthetic HGH injections.
I am 50 and Cerevital gave me my youth back.
Cerevital sells for $99 in stores, but call right now because we're letting as many women as possible try Cerevital for 30 days absolutely risk-free. Plus, call in the next 6 minutes and we'll also include free shipping. You owe it to yourself to try Cerevital for 30 days. It's absolutely risk-free.
Backed by 4 clinical trials, Cerevital is a true scientific breakthrough, 20 years in the making. Find out why over 4 million boxes of Cerevital have been sold.
Call 800-719-8755 or go to trycerevital.com.
Success unfortunately brought discontent among Flatt Scruggs. Sadly, in March 1969, Lester and Earl parted ways.
Earl told me, he said, I was tired of doing Rolling My Sweet Baby's Arms and Cabin in Caroline. What it was in the end, I think they disagreed on what they were going to do on stage, you know. Lester, he kind of wanted to stick to what he was doing, although they did some Woody Guthrie things, you know, but Earl, he wanted to, you know, he's the one that wanted to branch out and do something really different, you know.
What's this creative difference? Earl wanted to do what became the Earl Scruggs Review, this progressive bluegrass. Lester wanted to remain more traditional, and so they went their separate ways.
Ironically, the breakup of Flatt Scruggs led to a thaw in relations with Bill Monroe, after not speaking with him for over 20 years. It was Monroe who broke the ice with Lester Flatt at the Bean Blossom Festival in Indiana.
Lester told me this part of it. He said, I was standing backstage, and he said, somebody tapped me from behind on the shoulder like that, and he said, I turned around, it was Bill Monroe with his hand out. And so Bill said, I want you to sing one with me. Well, that's what they did. They walked out there and sung, Will You Be Loving Another Man? That was another duet they had, you know, which was recorded in the middle 40s, you know.
The reuniting of bluegrass legends led to a number of ensemble collaborations at the Opry and on television, though we never saw all three men together on the same stage.
I don't come crying on my shoulder. Tell me that love is grand. And before I'm out of sight, yeah, then be loved another man. Will you be loved another man? Will you be loved another man? When I return, will you be waiting? How will you be loved another man? When I return, will you be waiting? How will you be loved another man?
10 years after the breakup of Flatt Scruggs, Lester fell seriously ill. The two men reunited for a moment, but this time there was no audience to entertain.
But something happened because they didn't speak for 10 years. And it was literally on Lester's deathbed in 1979, a story I've heard, that he couldn't speak above a whisper. And he knew he was in bad shape. And that Earl, unannounced, went to see him. And nobody's really chronicled what that conversation was. But whatever was between them, I would like to believe, was settled in that moment in time. And he died, I'm going to say, just a few days later.
Earl Scruggs joined Lester Flatt in death in 2012, perhaps reuniting the duo in the next life. They left behind a bluegrass legacy, however, and generations of artists and fans continue to perform and enjoy the style of music they pioneered.
Because of those decisions they made, they were able to grow in a worldwide phenomenon known as Flatt and Scruggs. And that's why I believe now that their music still stays so universal and so popular and will always be loved and be alive.
I would describe Lester and Earl and their impact kind of like Emmylou did when she did the Ryman concert to help save the Ryman. You know, she was the first to do that. Emmylou said, if you look between the spotlight and the stage, you see these little particles, little dust particles. And that's hillbilly dust. And if it falls on you, which it's bound to on any given night at the Ryman, you're never quite the same. Because of Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. For the better, certainly, we've never been the same.
Oh, when the Saints go marching in, when the Saints go marching in, oh Lord, I won't be in that number, when the Saints go marching in. Him, Lord of all, when they crown him, Lord of all. Oh, Lord, I won't be in that number when they crown him, Lord of all. Oh, and the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I won't be in that number.
People